Hello, how are you? This is Jeanie Griffin coming from senior jail again. Remember in the olden days when we thought that this would all be over by June? Well, I don't know what we thought this was. Anyway, it's good to be here. And, I love October, but it goes by so fast. It's first of all, it's hot, and you think, okay, the summer's going to finally end. And then it's still a little hot in October. September in Southern California is just awful. We used to have, that was our only hot month. Now it's many more. But then October comes, and that first time that there's a little bit of nip in the air or overcast is so fantastic. Then next thing you know, it's like Thanksgiving and Christmas, and now it's Valentine's. Good grief. All right. So I'd like to, of course, talk to you about how peaceful I am, but people are going by my house banging the gate. So did you hear it? Anyway, I do love October because I wrote a poem that I have put on here several times called Grace-Filled Trees. And it starts out because I was pondering the lavish wastefulness of nature, which is a quote from Ernest Holmes, who wrote the book Science of Mind. But I love it. It's like contemplating the lavish wastefulness of nature. And the leaves fall. I've noticed that you cut a branch, you put it by the trash, and go out there 2 weeks later, and it's still there, and the leaves have not fallen off of it. They cling onto this dead branch. And I thought, well, how much I'm like that, clinging to something old, something that should be past. And I began watching all the leaves fall, and there's no competition. They're not worried. They just await the timing when the Creator fills them up again. And these dead leaves are falling off of living trees. They're not falling off of the dead branches that are cut, because they're pushed off by new growth. Dead leaves don't fall off of trees. Living leaves fall off of trees, and they're pushed off by that new growth. I love trees, and I watch them, and as I've said before, there's no competition. And they don't stand next to one another and compare and judge. They don't say, well, I have 400 leaves. How many do you have? And 12 people sat by my tree today, and only one sat by yours. There's none of that. No comparisons. They just sit there, stand there. They don't get to go anywhere. They just stay there and be a tree. They're satisfied being a tree. They're not searching around trying to be something they're not. That's a pretty good children's book, isn't it? What if a tree tried to be an elephant? Oh, that's funny. Well, I may have been given a new idea. Anyway, what are you contemplating as you watch the leaves fall off the trees these days? And does it scare you because you don't know whether there are going to be any come back? I have to laugh at myself because when I was newly married and a new mother, we lived next to some people, a little couple. They've never been able to have children, and I'm sorry, but my cat is throwing little toys at me, so if I look distracted, it's because I am. So this little couple next door to us, she was like, I don't know, 83 or 84, and he was 89. And he'd put on an apron and he'd say, why would we buy a dishwasher? I'm the dishwasher. And then she'd get out and prune these roses that she had. And I was so in love with the rose garden she had right over my fence. And I could look at it anytime I wanted. It was filled with these beautiful pink roses. And I learned that those were Queen Elizabeth roses. And I love Queen Elizabeth roses, which are not easy to find in Southern California, I might add. And all the nurseries were out in Oregon when I tried to find them. And, yeah, excuse me, it's not the company, I'm just tired. So I ordered some from, I don't know, somewhere in the Midwest. And they never came, and they never came, and they never came. This was at the beginning of, not really the beginning of COVID, but we were locked down, and I was ready to dig in the dirt. And finally these things, it was at the height of the post office and not being able to deliver things. And so these poor things sat, no, it wasn't the post office this time, it was FedEx, which is better, usually much better. Sat in a FedEx office for 15 days. By the time they got to me, they looked just dead as a doornail. But I planted them anyway. And they're planted in a common area near my front door, and everybody, there are 13 of us in this condo complex, and several people nearby go by and look at it and say, well, and I'll say, well, maybe in the fall, and finally now I'm saying maybe in the spring. I'm considering buying some plastic flowers and kind of planting them in there too, so they have something to look at. But it's funny how I watch them, and I watch them every day. I get my little iPhone out with my magnifying and I look at it and see, are you sprouting? Are you sprouting? And I had to laugh at myself the other day because they're not doing that to me. They don't get their magnifying glass out and say, what is she up to today? Ooh, am I glad I'm not a human. I'm just a rose bush instead. But the point also is, aside from just being what they are, they just wait on God's timing. And we don't. I don't know what my timing is. I can't seem to sleep during the night, and I want to sleep during the day. But they're content with God's timing. They're content with everything they need is given to them in their little seed, if they start out as a seed, or that however they start, everything they need. That little pink rose that I am waiting to see is already in this bush's DNA. They don't have to go find it. They don't have to go into therapy for it. They're just a rose bush. And the trees are just a tree. And they're ordained to produce when it's time. And we're the ones, so the story goes, we're given dominion over everything. And we interpret it as, well, now I'm dominating everything. What it means is we were given something more than the plants and the animals were. They're all driven by instinct, and we were given an ability to create. We're not the creator, but we're like the creator in that we can create things. And what a mess we do create. Unless our will, that freedom that we were given to create, is aligned with the creator. And then we can create beautiful things. What are you creating? Hang on to your coattails, because it's not going to get any better until after the election. And maybe it'll still be a little while then. But we're coming into the home stretch. and it's going to settle down. So all my astrologers tell me. So what are you creating? But don't join in the havoc. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sending love and nice messages to me while this was going on. I love you. There's not a damn thing you can do about it. Bye.